audio
Dreaming of cracking the UPSC Civil Services examination? Unsure about where to start or how to navigate the challenging path to success? Vision IAS Delhi's GS Foundation Course 2026 is here to provide the right direction, support, and resources to transform your dream into reality. This holistic course is designed to prepare you for every aspect of the UPSC CSE, prelims, mains, and interview. Here's what makes this course a game changer. Complete syllabus coverage from GS prelims to mains, CSAT, ethics, essay, and current affairs, we leave no stone unturned. Top-notch faculty learn from Delhi's most experienced mentors who have guided countless toppers. Personalized mentorship, tailored feedback, and performance assessments to help you constantly improve. Exclusive current affairs preparation, master the dynamic part of the syllabus with PT 365 and Mains 365 sessions. This course isn't just about preparation, it's about building the confidence and strategy you need to excel. Batches starting for 2026, 2027 and 2028. Karol Bagh, 17th December, 9 a.m. 29th November, 5 p.m. GTB Nagar, 13th December, 6 p.m. 23rd December, 8 a.m. Your journey to UPSC success starts with Vision IAS.
Afternoon, everyone. So I welcome you all to the Master Series discussion. And today we are going to have a discussion on a very, very important topic regarding international relations. So today we are first going to discuss, there are two topics. So what is the topic heading for this lecture? This is the geopolitical challenges, of course, in India's backyard, and how we are trying to manage the instability. And the second is something more focused in nature. So the second topic for today's discussion would be strategic ripples, assessing the impact of Bangladesh's political turmoil on India. This means, as the name suggests, you must be understanding that in the first session, we are going to first understand what all is happening in India's neighborhood, in India's backyard, and how political instability actually is affecting, to what extent India's interest might be affected, and how India has been responding. But before I proceed, I feel it's important for you to first of all understand the map regarding India and the neighborhood which we are going to discuss. And even before this, you see, whenever now onwards, when you have, I believe you have started your preparation, few of you have already started from last year. So if any topic comes up, or you are going to have a discussion on any of the topic, you are going to write your notes on any topic, first thing you need to understand is to situate that topic in a particular syllabus, where that particular thing falls in the syllabus. So when I say geopolitical challenges managing instability in India's backyard, what is that portion in our syllabus on which I want to dwell right now? This is the first topic. In GS paper 2, there is a section of international relations wherein the first topic itself is India and its neighborhood. So from now onwards, this has to be your strategy, that whenever you are trying to discuss or make notes for a particular topic, you need to situate it within the particular syllabus head. Of course, in precise, you won't be getting it, but generalist idea you would definitely be able to figure out. ठीक है? इससे क्या फायदा होगा? इससे ये फायदा होगा कि यार you are able to understand which particular topic I have to take forward even beyond prelims, for mains and even for interview, and what are those topics or issues which are just intermittent for a short while. I should not much concentrate on that. ठीक है? If something is definitely following in your syllabus, you will chase it. If it is not following in the syllabus, you will just go through in a cursory way. Probably the location might come up in prelims. Definitely it is not serving any fodder for your mains. Okay? So this is the first thing we need to take forward when we are taking the UPSC preparation, and this holds true for any discipline you are studying. So abhi now we are able to figure out this is our topic, India and its neighborhood. And when we talk about neighborhood, India's neighborhood is the immediate neighborhood. So this topic, which is India's backyard, of course, is falling within India's immediate neighborhood. What is the India's immediate neighborhood comprising? India's neighborhood is comprising Pakistan, China, okay, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, okay, Myanmar, Afghanistan, right? So this is India's neighborhood, and of course Sri Lanka and then Maldives. Basically in India's neighborhood first policy, China is not included, we all know this. So now when we are discussing India and its immediate neighbor, we are going to discuss these many countries. Now the topic of today's discussion is instability in your backyard. So probably what are those regions where we are having instability right now? So instability, of course, we are not talking about Pakistan, because Pakistan is one country which never had actually a persistent record of political stability. So now we are not recent past mein something great has not happened in terms of instability. So we are definitely or regime change. So we are definitely going to discuss Nepal. Nepal mein recently there has been a regime change. We are going to discuss. We are going to discuss Myanmar. We are going to discuss Myanmar because in Myanmar there has been a political coup, right? And as far as coup is concerned, now there is a military regime. So we are going to discuss Myanmar also. We are going to discuss Sri Lanka also, right? And then we are going to discuss Maldives as well. So these are few of the very important countries which we are going to discuss, and we know that there has been regime change in these countries, right? So in the first particular head, we are going to discuss these topics. Now, आपके syllabus में it is India and its neighborhood. So the first neighborhood is the immediate neighborhood. Then comes the extended neighborhood. And when I say extended neighborhood is involving the Southeast Asian region. So Southeast Asia, somewhere any other class, definitely we would be discussing these ideas also. It is including Central Asia, and then it is including Middle East or West Asia. ठीक है? So basically जब हम syllabus को deal करते हैं, so students in my class know how we approach. So basically India and neighborhood is not just immediate neighborhood. Once we are done with immediate neighborhood, then we proceed, including China, of course. जब हम सारा immediate neighborhood कर लेते हैं, then we discuss China also. Then we go for Central Asia, Southeast Asia and West Asia. But today's discussion is only and only regarding India and its close neighborhood, right? So now, next is, see, why I have included this particular map is because in international relations, maps matters a lot. Location also matters a lot. We need to figure out what is the reason India and its neighborhood, or if you could say the entire South Asia, becomes extremely important, to the extent any kind of instability happening in this particular region is having geopolitical connotation for the entire world, right? So we need to figure out what is so special regarding this South Asian region. For that, we need to figure out this map. If you look into this particular area, you would find why South Asia. This is South Asia. You know, South Asia is world's least integrated region in terms of economy. But still, South Asia appears to be geopolitically, geo-economically, strategically very important. What is the reason? Probable reason is this location. What is this location? This is called Strait of Malacca. So now this area of Strait of Malacca, which somehow figures itself in the Indo-Pacific region. ये Indo-Pacific region है, ठीक है? This is the Indian Ocean region, and where Indian Ocean is now amalgamating with the Pacific Ocean, that entire region becomes Indo-Pacific. So now Strait of Malacca की position makes South Asia so important, right? What is Strait of Malacca? This is one of the important international choke points, right? 1/4 of international trade actually covers or go across the Strait of Malacca, 1/4. So now if you find out other sea lanes of communication जो मैं बता रही हूँ, so this is Bab al-Mandab, sorry, Strait of Hormuz. This is Strait of Hormuz, and this is Bab al-Mandab. ठीक है? Now location becomes very important, keeping into mind which lies somewhere very close to Red Sea and which particular location figures very close to Persian Gulf, right? So now Strait of Hormuz, Bab al-Mandab, Strait of Malacca, all these international choke points make the entire Asia continent extremely important, and the Strait of Malacca, which is considered to be the busiest international choke point, makes South Asia extremely important. Now somewhere very close to Strait of Malacca you would find Sri Lanka. Somewhere close to Strait of Malacca you will find Maldives. In fact, Maldives or Sri Lanka ko to we consider as the toll gate as far as international trade is concerned, right? This makes India also very important. This makes these countries also very important, not only for India, for even IOR strategy, and even for the entire world also. So what is the reason I am telling you all this is because I personally do not prefer to teach any aspect in isolation. There is no point until and unless you are able to create a kind of connection. Something problematic is happening in Myanmar. Why should I be concerned about it, bhai? Why we are discussing Myanmar's troubled history or political instability? Because Myanmar is important because of its location, and where that location lies, it lies somewhere near the Indo-Pacific. So Myanmar becomes important for me not only as my immediate neighbor but also for my Indo-Pacific strategy. समझ रहे हो? So my point is international relations में bilaterally तो we need to think definitely. But the second important idea should be why this particular idea is important regionally. Perhaps in many of the times, not always, it even becomes important globally. जैसे Russia-Ukraine conflict. This is a Eurasian conflict. It has a regional implication. It has a ripple effect or a spillover effect in the entire Asia, but it is no more a regional issue, it has become a global issue. तो कभी कभी regional issue global भी हो जाते हैं, but not always, right? So this is the way now I have situated yourself, and the first important country in our neighborhood which we are going to discuss would be Myanmar. And in order to understand actually what happened in Myanmar, it becomes important to understand the political history of Myanmar. कि ये problem आखिर आई कहाँ से, right? And also, when we understand the political history, we will come to know that this is not for the first time a military regime or a military-backed regime has come up into Myanmar. ठीक है? So let's see into the political history of Myanmar. So now modern history of Myanmar somehow starts from 1885 and till 1948. So 1937 में Burma, at that time Myanmar was called Burma. Burma became a separately administered colony of Great Britain. ठीक है? And then post this retreat of the colonialism taken forward by UK from South Asia, many of the South Asian countries got independent. So was India, so was Myanmar. So Myanmar came out from this entire sphere of influence and now became independent. And 14th January 1948 is therefore considered to be that day in which now Myanmar also turned out to be an independent republic. So of course, India started having diplomatic relations with Myanmar. However, from 1948 till 1962 only, in Myanmar, we can figure out some kind of democratically elected government. Since 1968 till the year 2011, it was witnessing a military rule, right? तो हुआ क्या म्यांमार में? 1962 में the military leadership staged a coup. And between 1962 to 1974, Myanmar was completely being ruled by the military. And when it was being ruled by the military, it was called a Revolutionary Council, which was headed by a general. Okay? So this means that we, of course, had witnessed this kind of political instability in our neighborhood quite before as well. Now in 1997, Myanmar got admitted into ASEAN. So I'm just taking forward the most important ideas in the political history or the journey of Myanmar. Ab jab Myanmar became the member of ASEAN, what are the total number of member countries in ASEAN right now? Is it 10 or is it going to be 11? What is the latest entry into ASEAN? Timur. So Timur ki entry ke baad, now ASEAN had turned out to be 11, right? So ASEAN is now 11 nation block. Anyway, so last year only Timur got admitted. So ASEAN mein now when Myanmar got admitted, ab dekho all these points are important. This is the reason I keep telling my student that preparation for mains and prelims cannot be in isolation. You never know what kind of ideas could be asked. And you know, static information in prelims are asked only and only from dynamic portions which we study in mains. For instance, like this is a dynamic idea, hai na? Political instability in Myanmar. But see, when I am proceeding, I am telling you what has been different ways in which Myanmar has gone through its journey. So the first positioning, a good idea is that Myanmar got admitted into ASEAN. तो अगर आप technically class notes या class handouts को देखोगे, so I keep telling in my class also that go back home and now create a small write-up regarding prelims as far as ASEAN is concerned. Mains की understanding तो मैं आपको South East Asia में दूंगी. But for that, before that also, you need to figure out few points जो सिर्फ prelims के लिए important होंगे. This is the way when you are studying for mains, simultaneously आप pre के notes भी तैयार कर रहे हो. You never know, a question can come up that which of the following country is a member country of ASEAN or is not a member country of ASEAN, wherein you would have 4 options. 3 would be a very likely options which you would feel definitely is part of ASEAN, and 1 would be Myanmar or Timur, right? And you must be wondering कि चलो Timur की तो latest entry है, but I believe Myanmar was quite a different idea because we never knew that this kind of country which is facing so much of political turmoil can ever get an entry into ASEAN. But yes, it is a member country of ASEAN. ठीक है? So this is the way हम main से ही prelims के idea देखेंगे. Now again, there was political instability. 2007, there was a civil instability also coming up. There was this very much in news, the saffron revolution. So saffron revolution, suppose आता है pre में, it is linked with which country? Though it is quite an old context, it is linked with Myanmar. What is saffron revolution? This was due to the increase in the price of the fuel. And basically, since it was led by Buddhist monk, this is the and they were wearing saffron clothes. This is the reason it became saffron movement. ठीक है?
Are you struggling to complete your syllabus for the UPSC Prelims and Mains 2025? Is the lack of guidance stopping you from reaching your true potential? Vision IS brings to you a dedicated personalized mentoring solution to transform your prelims and mains journey. Enroll for the Laksha Mentoring Program 2025 for strategic revision, practice and targeted interventions. Attain high scores with key skill developments such as concept mastery, problem solving, answer writing and time management techniques. Embark on your preparation journey with Laksha Integrated Mentoring Program starting from 7th December. This comprehensive program offers unified mentoring for both prelims and mains 2025. Laksha Prelims Mentoring Program 2025 starting from 10th December. Intensive program focusing on prelims 2025 preparation.
Now what happened? Year 2008. Year 2008 was very, very critical for Myanmar and very decisive also as far as the future of the political history of Myanmar is concerned. Kya hua 2008 mein? New constitution got published. So you see, we India and we Indians should be proud enough, with pride we should say, that the constitution which was given to us in 1950, this is 2024, that to end of 2024, we are continuing to cling with that particular constitution, 1950 constitution. So our constitution, this is the reason it's called a living document. Why? Because we have kept adding new aspirations, new demands with new amendments. And in our neighboring countries, especially if you look into Nepal, if you look into Myanmar, you would find not one, not two, but 8 or 10 constitutions have come so far, right? So the present constitution, this was based upon 2008 constitution. Ab us 8 constitution mein kya hua 2008 mein? It allotted a quarter of seat, quarter matlab 1/4 of the seat in parliament to the military. तो ये लिख दिया गया constitution में that from now onwards 1/4 of the seat in the parliament would be given to the military people. And also it banned the opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi from holding the office. So there were 2 important decisions which actually became decisive later on. Now till this time, Aung San Suu Kyi has come up as a very important pro-democratic leader in Myanmar. Also during this time, I will tell you, आगे हम ये भी देखेंगे कि इंडिया का क्या policy shift रहा when this time military coup happened. So earlier when military coup happened somewhere in 85, 86, what was India's response? India was very, very vocal as far as this military regime is concerned. It was very vocal against this regime. इस समय Rajiv Gandhi was there and Narasimha Rao was our foreign minister, and during this time India was so vehemently against this military regime at that time that we even said that if necessary we are going to give financial and logistic support to the democratic forces in Myanmar. Right? This was our stand during 80s as far as the military rule in Myanmar was concerned. And see what kind of shift now we have taken. Now we have undergone a limited engagement strategy. Anyway, we will discuss that also. Now, after 2008, once this constitution came up and these changes happened, now there was this entire civil war situation coming up in Myanmar, where there were pro-democratic forces also and anti-democratic forces also. It was during this time only that Myanmar was bleeding economically also a lot. So, of course, there was economic instability also. Now what happened? This was a period, so I told you, this was a period till 2011. This was a period of military rule from 2011 to 2021. This is a period of respite in the political history of Myanmar. ऐसा क्या हुआ? So now what happened? In 2010, after a long time, एक बार 1962 के बाद, now in 2011, after such long time, they had started conducting general election. तो decision आया कि चलो general election किए जाएंगे. And at this time, there were 2 political parties which were dominating Myanmar. One party was the USDP. USDP का full form is Union Solidarity and Development Party. ठीक है? This USDP party actually was party on face, but literally it was backed by military. So you can't actually say this was a very pure form of party system happening, because one party was totally backed by military. And the second party was the NLD party. This was the National League for Democracy, which was of course headed by Aung San Suu Kyi. Okay? So in 2010 general elections happened, and the military backed lead party, that is USDP, was declared the winner. अब इस बार military regime नहीं आई, लेकिन military backed party came into power. And of course, see, retired General Thein Sein became the president. So again, a retired general became the president. So this of course shows a huge amount of coalition as far as the USDP is concerned and the military establishment is concerned. But now something happened in 2012. Again a sea change. क्या हुआ? 2012 में कुछ constituencies में by-election was supposed to happen in Myanmar. Right? Now as far as these constituencies are concerned, they were basically 45 seats जिसमें by-elections होने थे. तो ये mid-term हो रहे थे. Of course again NLD came and started contesting. Now as far as by-election result is concerned, out of the total 45 seats, 43 seats was won by Aung San Suu Kyi. Right? So this was a clear sign given by the people that people, if genuine form of elections happen, whereas there is no such kind of interference or tampering, alleged tampering, then of course people verdict was that they want NLD to come up into power. Now this was a red sign for USDP and the military regime. Anyway, they continued their regime. Myanmar में भी हर 5 साल में elections happen like in India. So the next election was supposed to take place in 2015. Now world also, India also, Myanmar also knew that this time it's going to be a tough fight for USDP. So now this time, as expected, NLD got the absolute majority of votes. And NLD leader Aung San Suu Kyi constitutionally, since she was barred, remember 2008 constitution ने बार कर दिया था Aung San Suu Kyi को to hold any of the constitutional post. So now what she did, so she is also very intelligent, what she did. So Hitin Kaur was elected as the first non-military president, क्योंकि अभी तक सब retired general ही president बन जा रहे थे. So Hitin Kaur became the first non-military president since military coup of 1962. And in 2016, Aung San Suu Kyi became the state councillor, a role akin to that of prime minister. So a new role was being created for her. And this role, of course, was not being mentioned anywhere. This is the reason she was absolutely fine holding this position, but somehow she became the de facto ruler. ठीक है? तो अब NLD शुरू हो गया since 2015. From 15 to 20, you would find Myanmar GDP also growing very good, especially the tourism. Myanmar was showing exponential increase in its tourism because of some amount of stability, some amount of security also. India-Myanmar relations were also going good, right? But now came 2020 and again elections were supposed to take place. Now by this time, USDP has bagged itself very well. Now USDP knew what I have to do. So now what happened when election result came up, NLD again won the election. Now this time USDP didn't went quiet. It started complaining of electoral irregularities. And it even said that foreign election observers needs to be taken forward in Myanmar to figure out whether there was electoral irregularities or not. So election observers also later on declared that no, there were no major irregularity. Ab USDP kya kare? Military kya kare? So this was somewhere in December 2020. Next year in 2021, this was the date 1st February 2021. Officially, NLD and the newly formed parliament was supposed to meet. But before this formal meeting happened, there was a military coup in Myanmar. wherein all the leaders of NLD, including Aung San Suu Kyi, was put under house arrest. ठीक है? So on 1st February 2021, तत्मादोव, अब आप लोग एग्जाम में ये सारे वर्ड्स जरूर लिखो. म्यांमार्स मिलिट्री इज कॉल्ड तत्मादोव या मिलिट्री जंटा. ठीक है? So Tatmadaw under Min Aung Hlaing, he detained the state councillor Aung San Suu Kyi and the other members of the ruling party. The president who was supposed to become the president, he was also made under house arrest, and this was the start of military coup as far as Myanmar is concerned. तो military coup शुरू हो गया from February 2021. 2021 is not a very good phase as far as India's neighborhood is concerned, because something more happened in our neighborhood regarding political instability. What was this? 2021. So August 2021, Taliban 2.0 came up. February 2021, Myanmar में military coup हो गया. And also health-wise, world was witnessing COVID. So year 2021 was not a great feast for India, especially in its neighborhood, right? Now when military rule happened, we need to understand how world and later on India started reacting. यही तो हमारा आज का topic है. That what was India's response to the geopolitical instability. So now, of course, moment the military rule happened, it was condemned by UN. UN General Secretary also condemned. US also condemned. European political leaders, Southeast Asian democracies, that is ASEAN, they all unanimously started condemning this military rule. What were their demand? Their demand was release of the captive leaders, of course the NLD leaders, immediate return to democratic rule. US even threatened sanctions on military and its leaders, including a freeze of $1 billion of their asset in US. So US came with a very, very strong response. Let me tell you, there was, after this only, when India ka response, I'll tell you how actually India was very much against this kind of economic sanctions which US and the European world was putting on Myanmar. And what were the reason also we would discuss. Anyways, which were the country which actually refrained to criticize? And you would be surprised to know that India actually refrained from criticizing. This is showcasing India's policy shift or its response as far as the military crisis in 1980s is concerned and in 2021 is concerned. And there are specific reasons to that. Also, we would discuss that. Apart from India, Pakistan also refrained, Bangladesh also refrained, Russia, Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, and China refrained. So most important countries for you to keep in your understanding is China, Russia, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. These were few of the neighboring countries, and then two extra regional actors like China and Russia. In fact, it is often been said, मतलब ये तो allegation ही है एक तरह से, it's just a speculation, that perhaps the representatives of Russia and China also conferred with the Tatmadaw leader before actual coup happened. This means some kind of, you can say, exchange of words might have happened between the Russian representative, China representative, and the Myanmar's military rule. Perhaps this was one of the reasons why they refrained to criticize. क्योंकि इंडिया का refrain करने में तो solid reason है, which we will discuss. But perhaps we are not able to figure out what was the reason why Russia and China refrained to criticize. ठीक है? So this was the story which happened. Next what happened, this was April 2021. अब chrono देखो, February 2021 में हो गया coup, April 2021. Since Myanmar is part of ASEAN, it was being said that this is going to be an ASEAN issue. This is a regional Southeast Asian issue. So Myanmar falls in Southeast Asia. Let me first of all clear this. I am discussing Myanmar in India and neighborhood. I am not discussing Myanmar in India and South Asia. No. Myanmar is part of Southeast Asia. This is the reason Myanmar is a member country of ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. तो अब आसियान से कहा गया भाई यू कम अप विथ योर सोल्यूशन, because you know India is very very sensitive about this issue, that we don't want our issues to be discussed in any outside regional forum. Similarly, we respect the mutual sensitivity of the other partner also. So we said we are not going to discuss this issue in any of the multilateral forum in South Asia. वैसे तो till this time SARC as a multilateral forum has also gone dysfunctional. But हाँ एक forum बच रहा था, BIMSTEC, जिसमें is Myanmar part of BIMSTEC? Is Myanmar part of BIMSTEC? Okay, tell me, is BIMSTEC, if one sentence in trilliums comes up, BIMSTEC is a regional organization of South Asia. Would you mark it correct or wrong? मैं कह रही हूं it is a South Asian forum or a South Asian regional multilateral forum. Is it correct or not? Just now I told you Myanmar is part of BIMSTEC. Myanmar is not part of South Asia. तो फिर BIMSTEC क्या है? BIMSTEC is a inter-regional forum. BIMSTEC is a connecting forum between South Asia and Southeast Asia. So all the member countries of SARC minus Afghanistan, Pakistan and Maldives, they are constituting BIMSTEC. Because perhaps these three important countries of SARC are not anywhere connected with Bay of Bengal. ऐसे करके याद रखो. You would wonder, ma'am, Nepal and Bhutan भी तो connected नहीं है. They are not connected, but their existence actually depends upon trade via Bay of Bengal only. So all these countries minus these three countries plus two Southeast Asian countries. What are the two Southeast Asian countries? Thailand and Myanmar. ठीक है? So this constitutes BIMSTEC. तो ये BIMSTEC के फोरम में भी नहीं डिस्कस हुआ, क्योंकि anyway BIMSTEC is not a core regional forum, it's a inter-regional forum. Anyways, तो कहाँ डिस्कस हुआ? आसियान में डिस्कस हुआ. Now आपके एग्जाम के लिए you need to remember that what is the solution to Myanmar issue provided by ASEAN. This is the famous 5-point consensus model which was being provided by ASEAN. What is this 5-point consensus model? Point number 1, immediate cessation of violence in Myanmar. Second, constructive dialogue among all parties. Yahan all parties includes all political parties including NLD. Next is appointment of special ASEAN envoy to facilitate dialogue. Next is provision of humanitarian assistance. And last is a visit by an envoy to Myanmar for some kind of mediation. So this was the 5-point consensus model taken forward by Myanmar, right? It's by ASEAN. And of course, India as a country who respects regional sanctity felt that this should be only the right solution to this particular issue in Myanmar. ठीक है? Now we are coming to the exact idea. हमने देख लिया ASEAN ने कैसे respond किया, world ने कैसे respond किया. So now before this I would tell, somewhere during this time only, it was in 2021 when Quad foreign ministers meet also happened. ठीक है? Now this Quad foreign ministers meet happened in 2021. And apart from other issues, Quad is a forum or a minilateral forum in which region? Indo-Pacific region. ठीक है? So of course, जब Quad की meeting हो रही थी तो we were supposed to discuss Indo-Pacific issues, but we even discussed Myanmar. This showcases the importance of Myanmar as far as our strategy in Indo-Pacific is concerned. तो जब discussion शुरू हुआ तो US and other countries like Australia, like Japan, so there are 4 countries, India, US, Australia and Japan. Except for India, rest of the 3 countries which forms part of Global North, basically believed in imposing economic sanctions on Myanmar, especially US. At that time, India said that at your personal capacity, I am no one to tell anything to you. If you wish to impose economic sanctions, you impose. But at the forum of Quad, being a member country of Quad, being a founding member of Quad, I would not allow this platform to be used to impose economic sanctions on Myanmar. There, our external affair minister said, and it was very famous, it has caught so much limelight in newspaper, that we don't believe in imposing economic sanctions on the countries which are of specific concern for us. Okay? So herein we need to understand what are the specific concerns we were talking about. ऐसा क्या है specific about Myanmar, because of which, despite there is a political instability, we also know a democratic rule is not there. And we are one country who have flaunted being the world's largest and the most successful democracy. तो ऐसा कौन सी specific concern है which is actually asking us this time not to impose and not to give them any kind of penal punishment or economic penalty. So one of the most important reason is the location of Myanmar. You would say, ma'am, location तो पहले भी same थी, but now the geopolitical realities have changed. ठीक है? If we go back to the location of Myanmar, okay, somehow map I just forgot to put. Okay, so if we know the location of Myanmar, we will figure out that Myanmar somewhere lies very close to. So we have a map. Overall तो map है ही. We can look into that map. Let me just put this. चलो, यहाँ से समझ में आएगा. So if you look into Myanmar, you would find why location becomes so important for Myanmar. Because Myanmar lies very close to northeast India. ठीक है? Myanmar lies very close to Bay of Bengal. This means Myanmar is very important for Indian Ocean region. Myanmar geographically also falls very close and it's part of Southeast Asia. This makes Myanmar very important in our Indo-Pacific strategy also. Right? So why Myanmar is important? Because A, Myanmar is very close to Northeast India. Any kind of issue in Myanmar is going to have a ripple effect in our Northeast states. Right? If any external countries start imposing economic sanctions, this will add to the existing problems in Myanmar. This will definitely create congenial situations not only for migration, but also as far as the anti-Indian insurgency activities in Myanmar is concerned. We already have data showing that the Kachin Independence Army in Myanmar has a very close contact alleged with the anti-Indian insurgents as far as Northeast India is concerned. So we don't want to add economic turmoil to the already economically dilapidating conditions in Myanmar. इसीलिए हम कह रहे हैं, kindly don't put economic sanctions on Myanmar. Right? Also, if you could see, Myanmar is very close to Northeast. So is Myanmar a member of Southeast Asia. So one, it is close to Northeast. Second, it could act as a gateway to Southeast Asia. Myanmar act as a gateway to Southeast Asia. ठीक है? Because of these two reasons, Myanmar is very important in our Act East policy as well. Right? So why we are so much concerned about what is happening and why we are actually asking countries, जो specific concern की मैंने बात बोली ना, this is the specific concern. So India said, for me, Myanmar have some specific concern, and with the country with whom we are sharing specific concern, we don't believe in putting sanctions. Right? So it is gateway to Southeast Asia. Location wise, it is important for IOR. India's IOR strategy. है कि नहीं? It is also very important for India's Indo-Pacific strategy. So if it is important in terms of Act East policy, being a closest neighbor, it is important for India's neighborhood first policy. Since it is playing a very important role in IOR, it becomes very important for our Sagar initiative. Itni sari foreign policies are linked with Myanmar. Right? There is one more idea. This location, can someone read this location for me? This is Siliguri corridor. 21-kilometer small stretch of land which is connecting mainland India with northeast. Look into the countries which are bordering this Siliguri corridor or chicken's neck. This is Nepal, this is Bhutan, this is Bangladesh. ठीक है? China, of course, is there going to influence via these countries. लेकिन immediately तो ये 3 countries हैं which are neighboring, right? But if we look into Myanmar, you would find Myanmar is helping us reducing our over dependence on Siliguri corridor. ठीक है ना? तो हमें क्या है ना, हमको अपने मेनलैंड से नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया में एक कनेक्शन क्रिएट करना है. Now countries knows our vulnerability. Especially country like China knows our vulnerability as far as Siliguri corridor is concerned. This is the reason now our foreign policy is to reduce our dependence on this particular corridor in order to reach to northeast. उसके लिए हम क्या कर रहे हैं? For that, we are creating all kind of connectivity initiative via Bangladesh. इसीलिए when I discuss Indo-Bangladesh relations, I always say connectivity is actually the cornerstone of India's foreign policy in our neighborhood. Especially if I dealing with countries like Bangladesh and with Myanmar. तो मेरे लिए connectivity is very important with Bangladesh because via Bangladesh I want to take another entry into northeast. So that God forbid if some kind of obstructions happen in Siliguri corridor, my northeast part is not aloof from the mainland India. ठीक है? इसीलिए आप देख रहे हो बांग्लादेश के साथ so many connectivity initiative we are coming up with. Agartala Khawra rail link project, then there is Maitri Setu project. There are so many, all kind of rail links have been opened up, right? So many ports have been operationalized, new port of calls have come up. So this is an idea. The same idea is there with Myanmar also. We want to use Myanmar also as a bypass to the Siliguri corridor. इसके लिए म्यांमार के साथ we have taken forward this कालादान multimodal project. ठीक है? ये कालादान multimodal project से क्या है? It's a multimodal मतलब it is involving multiple modes. So first we will reach to Myanmar, then we will take forward the Kaladan river port, right? And then we will make an entry into our northeast. वैसे तो म्यांमार के साथ we have another very important connectivity initiative. This is IMT Trilateral Highway. India, Myanmar, Thailand Trilateral Highway. लेकिन इसको मैं यहाँ bypassing of Siliguri के लिए नहीं use कर रही हूँ. Right? So now you can understand why Myanmar is so important for me. So Myanmar is important for me basically for security purpose. Myanmar is important for me as far as connectivity is concerned. Myanmar is important for India as far as IOR is concerned. Myanmar is important for India as far as Indo-Pacific is concerned. And therein comes all kind of foreign policies also. So Act East के लिए Myanmar is important. Neighborhood First के लिए Myanmar is important. So for Sagar. How can I leave Myanmar in a dilapidated position and help other member countries within a podium in which India is a member to go and impose sanctions? How can you leave Myanmar in such a, turmoilous position? So the geopolitical realities अब change हो गई हैं. उस समय Indo-Pacific was not so much in news. In fact, वो idea ही develop नहीं हुआ था 1980s में, है ना? Indo-Pacific का जो idea है, basically it came quite late. When US converted its Asia-Pacific policy into Indo-Pacific policy. तो तब तक इंडो पैसिफिक का आइडिया ही नहीं था, तब तक इतना थ्रेट नहीं था आईओआर में. दिस इज द रीजन फॉर अस म्यांमार की इंपॉर्टेंस वाज मच रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू एट बायलैटरल लेवल. नाउ थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड, right? So all these factors makes Myanmar so important for India that India at the Quad platform also said that we are opposing any kind of economic sanctions to Myanmar. Okay? So this was actually India's stand. This is the reason many critics actually said that is India witnessing a policy shift towards Myanmar, right? And you see, there are reasons also why we started talking about this policy shift. What was India's stand when there was the same kind of political crisis in 1987? I told you, India ka stand was against any such kind of military rule. So India's stand was against military rule.
Match your passion for joining the civil services with a strong hold over current affairs. Turn your UPSC prelims journey into success with the PT 365 program starting from 9th January at 5 p.m. Offering an amalgamation of 1-year current affairs in 60 hours, sourced through authentic sources such as The Hindu, The Indian Express, PIB, Yojana, Economic Times and more. The program is curated to enrich your current affairs knowledge for prelims success. Enroll to transform your preparation with features such as personalized mentoring for current affairs coverage, specific targeted content oriented towards prelims exam, doubt clearing sessions, access to high quality questions with Sandhan personalized test series, access to live and online recorded classes.
ठीक है, India's stand was against military rule, wherein I told you India went to the extent of even providing logistic as well as military support to the pro-democratic leaders. But India's stand in the Myanmar's political situation now is completely changed. Why? Now we have resorted to the policy of limited engagement. This is called limited engagement. अब limited engagement में हमने क्या किया? Look into the timeline. This is December 2021. When did we started? This issue started in February 2021. Coup हो गया. Then April 2021, ASEAN came out with its 5-point consensus model. We gave the region also, Myanmar also, its own sweet time to look forward to resolution of the issue. We didn't react it till this time. We refrained. We chose not to react, neither for nor against. Though in Quad platform, we were very, very vocal कि economic sanctions इस podium से तो नहीं लगाने देंगे. So this means we were in wait and watch mode. But in December 2021, something happened. What happened? India's foreign secretary, this was Harshvardhan Shringla, he went for an official visit to Myanmar. और Myanmar जाके he met the military chief. So now this was one particular idea which actually caught eyeballs not only within India but also internationally. कि now this is a sudden change in India's approach. ऐसा तो we never expected from India. We were expecting this kind of behavior from China coming क्योंकि China ने दिखाया भी ऐसा behavior. We were expecting something from Russia also, but we were not expecting this from India, but India did this, right? So now there were several, this is the Quad idea which I was discussing. पहले एक बार इस idea को भी और देख लेते हैं. So as I told you, कि Quad के forum में we said we don't want to put sanctions on someone who are very specific, with whom we share specific concern. एक तो we said we have security concerns. See what else we said. We said, and we actually tried in this Quad meeting, we tried to explode the dual behavior as far as the West is concerned regarding India and its neighborhood. India ने कहा कोई पहली दफे तो हुआ नहीं है that in our neighborhood military rule has come up. In both our eastern and western sectors, we have witnessed military rule. Here we are giving a signal towards the political instability in Pakistan, often now and then. So India said that I feel West have a very preferential attitude when it comes to imposition of economic sanctions. So why then economic sanctions were not imposed on Pakistan when Pakistan also entered into such kind of situation? If not now within Quad, तो we are not allowing this to happen. Also see what we said, as I told you, India ने कहा कि see Quad is no forum to give any kind of positive or negative comments as far as this situation is concerned. It is all what is within the control and within the ambit of ASEAN. So India ने कहा भाई we support ASEAN 5-point consensus model. Anyways, back to that news. So news was that our foreign minister went there, and when a foreign secretary went there, तो critics ने क्या बोला? So critics said that is India's approach towards legitimization of the coup. ठीक है? So ये कई सारे न्यूज़पेपर में तब दिखा कि भाई many people said it looks like India is legitimizing the coup. Though in reality we were of course not doing that. We were just because of specific concern having and trying to have limited engagement. Right? So now what were those reasons why actually our foreign secretary's visit was being criticized by this in this way? First क्या था? Foreign secretary visit to Myanmar post coup, and after that the terms used in the Ministry of External Affairs press release. जब press release हुई तो उसमें military junta या military chief के लिए terms use हुए like chairman. So when these kind of terms were being used in Indian press release, it were being criticized that why aren't you are addressing them like a military chief or a military junta? Why such kind of glorified vocabulary is being used? Next, in that particular visit, India actually confirmed to Myanmar that we will continue providing them military cooperation. ठीक है? Also, we said that we are going to continue the economic assistance which we were providing to Myanmar, wherein an Indian house was also being established. ये भी एक agreement हुआ, right? A commercial establishment would be made. Next, we said we are continuing with the development projects in Myanmar, including the Kaladan and the IMT project. It was at this time when COVID was at its peak. So we even agreed to provide HADR, that is humanitarian assistance and development, assistance to Myanmar also. At the same time, we also said we would be supplying the inbuilt Indian COVID vaccine to Myanmar. So when these many things we went there and we promised, of course, critics started criticizing us, right? So in response, actually, what was the idea which came front to the world was that India said, so हमने explanation में क्या बोला? That we are adopting a twin track approach towards Myanmar. What is this twin track approach? That is, we are proceeding towards Myanmar in two particular ways. One, we are carrying a diplomatic engagement with Myanmar's military regime because Myanmar is of specific concern for us, right? Also, apart from all those, जो हमने connectivity के लिए जो हम projects कर रहे हैं, we have invested crores, billions on that project. So we can't leave those projects unfinished. That would be a great, great economic loss to us. So we said because of these many reasons, we of course are continuing diplomatic engagement, though that engagement would be limited in nature. And at the same time, we are pushing for the country's return to democracy. So every time when we are having a collaboration and engagement with Myanmar, we are actually asking Myanmar to restore democracy as soon as possible. लेकिन उसमें भी push towards democracy, it would be very light from our side. मतलब ज़्यादा push नहीं देंगे so that they might not go and sit in the lap of China. Because China is waiting for this thing to happen, right? Of course, China is also, why we are approaching, मैंने जितने points लिखा है, वो तो हैं ही important points. Apart from that, increasing footprint of China is also one important reason. जिस हिसाब से चाइना के फुटप्रिंट बढ़ रहे हैं म्यांमार में, so we all know how Coco Island, which is one very important island in IOR, which is right now officially under control of Myanmar, but de facto under the control of China. तो चाइना ने ये जो कोको आइलैंड ले लिया, ये क्यों लिया है? सो दैट आईओआर में इट इज एबल टू क्रिएट इट्स ओन सर्वेलेंस. दिस इज प्रोबेबली द रीजन हमारी डिफेंस एक्सपेंडिचर एंड कैपेबिलिटीज बहुत ज्यादा बढ़नी पड़ रही हैं. दिस इज प्रोबेबली वन ऑफ द रीजन व्हाई इन ग्रेट निकोबार वी आर क्रिएटिंग आवर ओन इंपॉर्टेंट नेवल बेस. सो वी नो कि चाइना इज ऑल्सो एन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट आइडिया. तो ज्यादा जोर से पुश नहीं करना है. वी आर गोइंग टू पुश देम जेंटली. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू इम्पोज एनी इकोनॉमिक सैंक्शंस, बट एट द सेम टाइम वैसा इंटरेक्शन नहीं होगा जो शायद एनएलडी के रिजीम में म्यांमार से होता था. Right? So this is the twin track approach as far as India is concerned regarding Myanmar. अब लास्ट में आ सकता है कि रीजन क्या है इस इन्वर्टेड अप्रोच का. यू नो दिस अप्रोच इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड पॉलिसी स्पिन, और इसके कई सारे नाम लिखे बोले हैं. सो वन इज द पॉलिसी स्पिन एज फार एज इंडिया इज कंसर्न. अनदर इज, सो वन इज पॉलिसी स्पिन, another is twin track approach, and third approach towards Myanmar is the inverted approach. Inverted approach when we are comparing our approach with the earlier 1987 approach. ठीक है? What is the reason for these many kind of things which we happened, which we took? First, growing influence of China in Myanmar. So for me, keeping Myanmar within our own, if I am not saying sphere of influence completely, but actually amicable relations with Myanmar is of course a sine qua non right now. Else it is going under China anyhow. ठीक है? Also you see, China has increased its footprint. तो एक तो मैंने कोको आइलैंड का आइडिया दिया. Another very important thing which China has been doing is the OBOR initiative, One Belt One Road initiative. इसी को हम BRI भी कहते हैं, Belt and Road initiative. And of course, Myanmar is a part of OBOR initiative. Can you tell me one important project where Myanmar is part? So this is CMEC, China Myanmar Economic Corridor. जैसे सीपेक है चाइना पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर, वैसे ही सीमेक है, दिस इज चाइना म्यांमार इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर. यू सी स्टोरी इसकी जरा लिंक्ड है BCIM से. बांग्लादेश, चाइना, इंडिया, म्यांमार. सो अर्लियर यू नो, अभी तो इंडिया इज ऑफ कोर्स नॉट पार्ट ऑफ OBOR, वी ऑल नो. बट व्हेन OBOR कौन से ईयर में आया? 2013 when President Xi came out with this over ambitious plan, है ना, One Belt One Road. तो road component is which, what component, and belt component is what component? Land और water से बताओ. Road component is the water component, belt component is the land component. ठीक है? इसका मतलब चाइना का प्लान है to link the entire world under its own supply chains, therein creating a kind of interlinkages both through water as well as through land. जहाँ land होगी वहाँ China will develop the expressway or corridors or highways, और जहाँ water component होगा वहाँ China will develop the ports, right? In this way, what is the basic idea? OBOR का दिखाने के लिए तो आइडिया ये है कि इट इज रोड टू प्रॉस्पेरिटी, बट द इम्प्लिसिट आइडिया इज वन, टू इंक्रीज चाइना's प्रेजेंस ऑल अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड वाया सप्लाई चेन्स. हाँ, internationalizing yen could also be one idea, but it is difficult to achieve because of the still over dominance of dollar. So this is difficult. So I would say the most important idea is to situate China in the global hub of supply chains. देखो इस साल only, this year only in 2024, a question has also come up. The question was how US and the West is using India as a counterbalance as far as the supply chains dominated by China are concerned, right? So ये सारी चीजें हम लोग इसीलिए this is the reason all throughout my lecture I make my point, क्योंकि see इसके ऊपर ना कोई एक situated answer can't be framed until and unless you knows the ins and out of India and its neighborhood and what all China is doing, you won't be able to come out with examples. So within this, OBOR becomes one very important idea. Or this is probably one of the reason why India now is joined by the West to create regional alternatives to OBOR. तो वो जो question आया था ना, उसमें आपको यही लिखना था, that how India is being invoked as a counterweight to create regional supply chains. One example of a very promising regional supply chain is IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, an initiative of PGII. PGII is partnership. What is PGII? Partnership for Growth of Investment and Infrastructure. Infrastructure and Investment. पहले infrastructure है, फिर investment है, ठीक है? तो PGII क्या है? ये brain child है G7 का, यानी Global North का. और PGII का एक example है IMEC. और IMEC में now India is been there. Anyways, 2013 में OBOR came up. When OBOR came up, तो initially, you know, India ने ऐसा नहीं कहा कि we are not being the part of OBOR. हमने मना नहीं किया. We were somehow situated within a project called BCIM. ठीक है? But somehow, because of certain issues regarding CPEC and our objection to CPEC, actually we started dropping the OBOR meetings, जिनको हम कहते हैं BRF meetings. So we dropped BRF meetings in 2 occasions. 2017 में हमने attend नहीं करी, 2019 में हमने attend नहीं करी. So now the world also and the China also knew that India is not interested. This is the reason BCIM was omitted out from OBOR. और उसके बाद जो idea बनाना वो था CMEC का. When of course Myanmar alone was being taken forward. ठीक है? तो rising tide of China within Myanmar could be understood through so many ideas, especially regarding Coco Island and CMEC. This is also one of the reasons why we went for this kind of twin track approach. Next is security apprehension. I told you what kind of security apprehension we have, especially regarding our northeast states. Then is Myanmar is very important for our Act East policy. Then neighborhood policy ke liye Myanmar is very important. Then Myanmar is very important for our continuing development projects. And Kaladan multimodal project is very important in order to bypass the Siliguri corridor and reduce our overdependence. So perhaps these are few of the reasons why India has taken forward the approach which is presently present, this which is manifested. Okay? So actually this is all about Myanmar and how we have reacted to the political instability in Myanmar. Now tell me, is there any issue, any doubt? Okay, so next idea in front of us is Sri Lanka. हाँ जी. Okay. What is your name? So Vinay is asking that is it India's way of somehow discarding or sidelining the democratic credentials and putting security upfront? है ना? इसका मतलब तो यही हुआ ना, we have kept security concerns prime as far as Myanmar is concerned. Somehow we have sidelined our democratic credential. But you see, to a large extent this is not true. A, because we have just gone for a policy shift. This does not mean that we are not asking Myanmar to restore democracy. In fact, recently only Myanmar on India's request actually assured us that this year only we are going to conduct election, but anyhow elections could not be conducted. Our point is that right now geopolitical realities are asking us to concentrate not only on democracy, which is of course a moral idea, but also on something more practical, which is security. So our idea is not only a moral contention, ours is a moral plus realist contention. तो मॉरल आइडियाज को हमने रखा है, लेकिन हमारे रियलिस्ट कंटेंशन को भी हम कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं कर सकते हैं. See, you can always talk about democracy when our people are secure. After all, democracy is exhibited by people only, no? तो ऐसे कौन से हम democracy लेके आगे बढ़े where our own people are, their own life, their own security is jeopardized. This is the reason moral realist contention आता है. Whenever मैं क्लास में भी बताती हूँ, क्योंकि आज तो we can't elaborate so much on each and every aspect. I do discuss this, how we are actually fluctuating between this moral and realist contention, but how we have taken a middle golden position कि हम gently उनको बोलते भी रहेंगे, we will gently keep pushing them, but we will keep our security apprehensions at first. ठीक है, चलो. हाँ जी. National interest is utmost important, and this is the principle of a realist foreign policy, which I believe is the order of the day. I'm not saying we should, compromise on our idealism. Idealism has never gone out from foreign policy. Idealism is one option which is already always ready to take forward. But after a long time, we have started coming up and appearing more real, more prudent. So prudent does not mean that you are sidelining your idealist ideas. Prudent means you are just more focusing on real ideas. ठीक है? हाँ जी. How India is engaging with the, sir, this is, see, so one of this, naam kya hai beta? Ankit is asking how India is now trying to figure out or place itself and engage to nahi karegi India, but try to deal or tackle with the anti-Indian insurgent groups running in Myanmar, or some of the non-state actors, violent non-state actors. See, this is the reason we want to engage with Myanmar's military junta. This is the reason. See, agar guard se aap engage karoge, to you would be able to understand what is happening inside the house. So now the guard, the political guard is Myanmari junta. वो military है, we understand. But until and unless we engage, how can, suppose Myanmar से एक और बहुत important threat है drug trafficking का, because Myanmar falls into that golden triangle area. ठीक है? So drug trafficking is also one threat. अभी उसको रोकने के लिए at least you need to correspond to some authority. उसके लिए भी engagement, a minimum engagement is required. You see, this is all the reason why with Taliban 2.0 also we are engaging, though in a very limited way. क्योंकि अगर आपको थ्रेट को रोकना है, तो जहां से थ्रेट आ रहा है उस पॉलिटिकल अथॉरिटी से बातचीत तो करनी पड़ेगी ना. मिनिमम लाइन ऑफ इंटरैक्शन नीड्स टू बी मेंटेन्ड. Else we are going to repeat the same mistake which happened during the hijacking of Indian aircraft. The Kandahar hijacking wo kyun hui? During that time, Taliban 1.0 was there, and we had the same position कि democracy is very important. We are not engaging with Taliban regime. तो जब आपने engage नहीं किया, तो जब land हुआ वहाँ plane, that hijacked plane, we were not able to correspond. कितना समय तो ये figure out करने में लग गया कि who is the person to whom we have to call upon. So we don't want to repeat that thing, that mistake. ठीक है? This is the reason. चलो. Now the second important idea which we are discussing today, and where regime change has happened. Mostly मैं recent regime change को देख रही हूँ. So the second important idea is that of Sri Lanka. So now look into the location of Sri Lanka. You would find why Sri Lanka is geopolitically so important for us, and also for strategic reason. See, this is the idea of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka lies in Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka lies very close to Indo-Pacific and Strait of Malacca. All important trade routes are actually going and circumscribing Sri Lanka. This makes Sri Lanka extremely important, not only for us, but also for rest of the world. This is the reason if something is happening in Sri Lanka, the eyeballs actually are from all across the countries, all across the globe. Sri Lanka particularly, why it is important for India? Because of the close proximity. ठीक है? So location become one of the reason. Why Sri Lanka is very important for us? Historical connection with Sri Lanka becomes one of the reason. We not only are natural partners, so with Sri Lanka we are natural partners. Natural partners matlab geography is bringing us together. So we are natural partners. We are also historical, we share common history. This is the reason the entire idea of Ramayan trail and Ramayan circuit and all goes very good as far as soft diplomacy with Sri Lanka is concerned, with Thailand is concerned, with Cambodia is concerned, जो temple diplomacy की हम बात कर रहे हैं, right? Sri Lanka is also important for security concern. Why? Because it lies very close to us. Also, because of the Tamil issue which happened somewhere in Sri Lanka, Tamil minorities who were ghettoized in this particular area, what kind of civil war situation happened and how it could affect India because of the probable refugee influx. Okay? Also, the Tamilian audience back in India have a very soft corner for their brothers as far as this Tamilian Sri Lankan area is concerned of Jaffna and the northeast Sri Lanka. So the Tamil issue, और उस समय तो जब मैं बात कर रही हूँ when the crisis was very high, then तो in India में भी the domestic, the central politics में regional parties, especially DMK, AIA, DMK, ये सब they were playing very important role. So Tamil issue became not only a regional issue, it became a national issue. Perhaps this was the reason we even went for an intervention in 1985. ठीक है? So अभी भी हमें डर है कि अगर ये इशू, जो कि अभी भी कुछ खास रिजॉल्व हुआ नहीं है, Tamilians still are feeling separate, Tamilians still are feeling depressed. जितनी भी अभी right now श्रीलंका का क्या हाल है, that in most of the provinces in Sri Lanka there is a governor rule. Especially in the Tamil majority provinces, there has not been elections for last 2-3 years. So this is an issue right now happening with the Tamil majority areas. This is the reason kabhi bhi ye influx ka issue aa sakta hai. Also security wise, so Sri Lanka is also important because important sea lane of communication ke area mein it lies. So for our trade security also Sri Lanka becomes important. Also if you could see, इस area में और इस area में our Indian navies goes or Coast Guard goes for a patrolling. तो जब भी वो शिफ्ट करते हैं अपने साइड, दे हैव टू गो ऑल अक्रॉस श्रीलंका एंड गो एंड शिफ्ट. फॉर दैट रीजन ऑल्सो, फॉर नेशनल सिक्योरिटी रीजन ऑल्सो, श्रीलंका इज इंपॉर्टेंट. सो श्रीलंका इज इंपॉर्टेंट स्ट्रेटेजिकली फॉर इकोनॉमिक रीजन, दैट इज ट्रेड सिक्योरिटी, फॉर नेशनल सिक्योरिटी, फॉर demographic issues concerning refugee, the Tamil affiliation which the southern states have. Because of this, Sri Lanka is very, very important for us. तो कोई भी अगर आप कंट्री को डिस्कस करो, आज तो वी डोंट हैव मच टाइम टू डिस्कस इन डिटेल, बट वैसे आई एम गाइडिंग यू इन एग्जाम ऑल्सो लाइक दिस ईयर ओनली, वाई मालदीव इज इंपॉर्टेंट पे स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन आया था ना. What is the geostrategic importance of Maldives? And actually, whenever I start my lectures, first thing I always do, so my student to know, first thing जो मैं बताती हूँ वो यही है, that why this country is important for India. Because वो आपका ना बेस बना देता है for understanding why all this thing is happening. जैसे म्यांमार का अब आपको समझ में आया ना कि what is the reason India have this inverted policy? Because these are the important areas or security concern. So now, what is the most recent context? हम क्यों श्रीलंका की अभी बात कर रहे हैं? So श्रीलंका की इसलिए बात कर रहे हैं because September 2024, this year only, there has been presidential election in Sri Lanka. जो presidential election हुआ है, उसमें JVV पार्टी के This Nayaka has now become the new president. Earlier, who was the president? It was Ranil Wickremesinghe. Ranil Wickremesinghe is the same person who was the prime minister when Gotabaya Rajapaksa was the president and when Sri Lanka has ended into a economic crisis. तब से गोटाबाया राजापक्सा हमको पता है he fled to Maldives. Official गजट में उन्होंने ये correspond कर दिया that now Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe will become the next president. ठीक है? तो तब से president बन गए Ranil Wickremesinghe and Prime Minister at that time was Dinesh Gunawardene. ठीक है? But because of the economic crisis, presidential, अब जितने बचा हुआ जो समय था, that particular period Ranil Wickremesinghe continued. And now this was a time when fresh elections were supposed to come up. So now we were expecting that Ranil Wickremesinghe will come up, Most of the countries were expecting this, but somehow the mandate came opposite. So now this is party JVP party. अगर इस JVP party का आप थोड़ी history देखो, see this is just September, तो I can't comment right now that what could be the probable repercussion as far as India Sri Lanka is concerned under this new regime, right? But what the least I can say is if I look into this JVP party और इसका क्या ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड था और इंडिया का क्या था, then we can somehow predict. So Sri Lanka, we all know, has undergone huge amount of political crisis. And this was the Sri Lankan crisis, जिसको कहते हैं civil war, which was between the LTTE and Sri Lankan government. Within this entire span of almost more than 2 decades, in 2 occasions, that was in 71 and 87, there was a political insurrection within Sri Lanka. Rebels started heading themselves up. 1971 में जो rebel शुरू हुआ or the insurrection started in Sri Lanka, that was carried by none other than JVP party. So JVP party has a long history. At that time, this JVP party, which has a left orientation, was of course being allegedly supported by China, it is being said. And they were making a fight against the ruling government of Sri Lanka. It was during that time in 1971, India came up as a supporting, very supporting pillar for Sri Lankan government, and unofficially and even outside support which we provided to Sri Lankan government, Russia also provided. Somehow this political insurrection was being decimated. Most of the rebels surrendered. And this JVP party later came out to be a Singla dominated party, and it merged with that, right? So ये JVP party का थोड़ा ये track record रहा है. This is the reason when this JVP party came up, it was being said that what would be the impact to Indo-Sri Lanka relation. But you see, analysts can only predict, and we can only say that not much change will happen as far as this political regime till the time it is existing in Sri Lanka is concerned. What could be the reason? A, that right now Sri Lanka cannot afford to offend India. Especially when India is becoming one of the highest economic donor to Sri Lanka, giving even more than what IMF is giving, that is $4 billion. इतना credit हमने उनको declare कर दिया है और हमने भागों में उनको देना भी शुरू कर दिया है. In installments, we have started giving them. So one, they cannot afford to offend India. India somehow has become indispensable for Sri Lanka's existence. Second, though India is second largest trading partner, because first largest trading partner is still China, for trade relations also India is very important. Third, अभी हम आगे देखेंगे how India has helped Sri Lanka coming out from economic crisis by taking forward the 4-pillar initiative. उस 4-pillar initiative में first pillar तो यही है that we will continue giving them credit help, जो मैंने अभी हम आगे discuss भी करेंगे. Second is currency swap, that whenever your currency will be devalued, we will try to swap. Either we will have a currency trade, dollar को हम हटा देंगे, या rupee और उनकी currency Sri Lankan rupee में हम trade कर लेंगे. Third thing and very important is the modernization project. ये हमने 3-pillar initiative declare किए हैं, तो we are not going to back down from that. Even we know and Sri Lanka knows. Third modernization project में what we have started developing the Trincomalee harbor. The Trincomalee harbor में, which is the 5th largest, deepest natural harbor in the world, there we are creating an oil tanker. उस oil tanker में हम अपना surplus oil जाके store करेंगे. So देखो, there are no free lunches in this world. If we are giving this kind of thing, तो of course ये हमारे benefit में भी है कि हम अपनी oil supplies उसमें रख देंगे. But what is the advantage to Sri Lanka? हमसे ज़्यादा उनको advantage है, because the entire Trincomalee district would be developed and the surrounding areas would be developed. और वो कौन करेगा? वो हम develop करेंगे, because we want supply chains to come up, right? And the 4th important pillar is a very long lasting pillar wherein we would say we will take forward investment. हमने promise कर दिया है श्रीलंका को. when the rest of the countries in the world, especially China, has shown their back, when Sri Lanka was in so much of crisis, India became the first responder. उनको कोई guarantee नहीं दे रहा था in IMF. We became the first responder. After that, they got IMF guarantee. When we took one step forward, China thought कि ये तो India आगे बढ़ गई. China also started said, no, I'll also give them guarantee. लेकिन वो पहली guarantee तो हम ही ने दी थी. So जो last हम program बोल रहे हैं investment का, उसमें what we have said, we would help Sri Lanka come out in its hospitality sector. क्योंकि हमको पता है 80% of Sri Lanka's GDP depend upon tourism. तो हमने उनको अश्योरेंस दे दिया है कि आपका टूरिज्म बिगड़ा है, वी आर गोइंग टू सपोर्ट यू इन द हॉस्पिटैलिटी सेक्टर. हाउ? वी आर गोइंग टू एनकरेज आवर प्राइवेट सेक्टर्स टू कम अप एंड इन्वेस्ट इन श्रीलंका. So because of these reasons, now India is an indispensable economic and development partner in Sri Lanka. Strategically also they know, सबको पता है, if you are aligning with China, you are going, and definitely today or tomorrow you are going to be in a debt trap. So China is never coming up with sustainable projects, but India always come up with some very fine sustainable project. क्यों? क्योंकि India उस project में खुद partner है. India वो loan में नहीं दे रहा है project. When you are partnering, so you would not like this project to fail, right? Because of these reasons, if a question comes up, by the time आप अपने mains लिखोगे, काफी समय चला जाएगा, of course थोड़ी picture clear हो जाएगी. But right now, this is the least I can tell you, that I personally feel not great difference will happen as far as Indo-Sri Lanka relations is concerned. अब क्योंकि हमारा topic आज है political instability, let's quickly see August 2021 में what all economic crisis happened. So in August 2021, sorry, 21 में. So in August 2021, Sri Lanka officially declared that we have gone bankrupt. We are suffering from an immense economic crisis. This was a time when COVID was also at high. So what could be the probable reason? Primarily two C's. One was the impact of COVID, we all know. When COVID started, what thing happened? When COVID started, there was this mandated lockdown, social distancing. So of course, trade got impacted. So trade declined. Tourism declined. The labor intensive industries, देखो एशिया की जितनी countries है ना, mostly they are depending upon labor intensive industries. Like construction, like textile, like GIG workers, ये industry भी decline कर गई. Because of this simultaneous decline and coupled with this, there were some other issues also. So COVID crisis came out to be one of the reasons for the economic crisis. Second, of course, is China's debt trap. अब इसकी story तो हम सबको पता ही है. That by 2019, Hambantota port was completely gone in China's hand as far as 99-year lease is concerned. कब हुआ? 2019. क्यों हुआ? Because China was actually funding for the development of this particular port. तो उनका जो भी अपना MOU वगैरह जो कुछ भी होता है, wherein it was being said that revenue from this port, of course, some revenue would be provided to China also. But this port was not going good. So somehow the port failed. And now Sri Lanka was under a huge debt. And this is the reason they were not able to repay the debt. So China said, doesn't matter. What the least you can do is to give this important strategic port to us. Not for quite long, just for 99 years. We are okay with it. This port is all yours, but just for 99 years, I will situate my military there. I could do whatever I could want. Right? So this is called the debt trap policy. So Sri Lanka kya? World ki, it has been said, overall, developed या developing, दोनों को मिला के, China, because of its OBOR initiative, have actually managed to create 53 fragile economies all across the world. Right? And all thanks to OBOR. And all thanks to debt trap policy. This is what China keeps doing. This is the reason now there is a retreat in in OBOR. Italy and so many countries are now withdrawing from OBOR also. So the second important reason was of the economic crisis was this. Next were the supporting reasons. Dependence on import. COVID का समय है. और श्रीलंका की एक प्रॉब्लम ये रही कि श्रीलंका फॉर इंपॉर्टेंट एसेंशियल्स जैसे शुगर हो या डेयरी, it was very much dependent on import. So moment the supply chains got obstructed due to COVID, their import declined. Since they were so much dependent on essentials on import, this actually affected their economy a lot. इससे हो गई essential चीजों की price increase. Second was underperforming tourism industry. Next was depreciation of currency. Now the trade hampered. जब trade hamper हुआ तो of course डॉलर की पॉसिटी हो गई एंड दिस क्रिएटेड डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ देयर ओन करेंसी. उनके पास डॉलर ही नहीं थे फॉर ट्रेडिंग, हाउ वुड दे ट्रेड, राइट? दिस लेड टू राइजिंग इन्फ्लेशन. क्यों? ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट बढ़ गई बिकॉज दे वर नॉट एबल टू कम अप विद द फ्यूल कॉस्ट बढ़ गई थी, प्लस दे वर नॉट एबल टू इम्पोर्ट, राइट? सो दे वर मल्टीपल रीजन. इन्फ्लेशन के रीजन क्या थे? एक तो इम्पोर्ट नहीं हो पा रहा था, सेकेंड फ्यूल कॉस्ट बढ़ गई थी, थर्ड इंपॉर्टेंट आइडिया वॉज coupled with this food shortage. Now food shortage को आप inflation के साथ ही देखो. God knows who was that intelligent person. वो वैसे तो कौन person क्या, वो तो country ही थी. So it was an organic only approach which came to the mind of Sri Lanka. Organic only approach ये कह रही थी that very soon Sri Lanka will turn completely organic, यानी कि all no to chemical fertilizers. किसने इनको ये राय दी? ये राय बाद में पता चली it has come up from China because the organic fertilizers which was supposedly to be provided to Sri Lanka was coming from a China owned state agency, as in China owned company. तो ये जो organic only approach थी इसको इन्होंने बड़ा seriously ले लिया. तो केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स तो आपने बंद कर दिए, बट वी ऑल नो अ लैंड विच इज सो मच टेकिंग फॉरवर्ड केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर फॉर सो मेनी ईयर्स. एकाएक रात में हाउ वुड इट स्टार्ट प्रोड्यूसिंग एंड गिविंग डिविडेंड? सो ऑफ कोर्स यील्ड को अफेक्ट हो गया, यील्ड को अफेक्ट हुआ तो फूड शॉर्टेज हो गई. सो दिस ऑल्सो क्रिएटेड इन्फ्लेशन इशू. देन एफडीआई इनफ्लोज एक्चुअली गॉट हाफ्ड. हु विल इन्वेस्ट ड्यूरिंग दिस टाइम? नो वन वॉज इन्वेस्टिंग. ऑल्सो ये मैं 2020-21 की बात कर रही हूँ, एक साल में थोड़ी ये सारी प्रॉब्लम हुई. एक्चुअली ये प्रॉब्लम इवन स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम 2019. 2019 में क्या हुई थी? ईस्टर बॉम्बिंग हो गई थी. सो देयर वर बॉम्ब अटैक और टेरर अटैक ऑन द ईस्टर डे इन श्रीलंका 2019. तभी से इनका टूरिज्म में बहुत डिक्लाइन हो गया. सो 2019 वाज नॉट अ गुड ईयर. 2020 होते होते कोविड केम अप. So because of all these factors, the FDI also declined. Now, apart from this, their debt to GDP ratio increased. ज़्यादा कर्जा लेने लगे, right? Look, Sri Lanka owes more than, right now, $51 billion in foreign debt, out of which $28 billion has to be repaid by 2028. This was to the level of their debt to GDP ratio.
Strategic implementation with a structured approach is instrumental to achieve success in the UPSC mains examination. To attain this excellence, guidance from UPSC experts is your way to overcome your challenges. Excel in UPSC mains with the Daksha mentoring program starting from 10th December and transform your preparation with strategic revision, practice and enrichment. Join this personalized mentoring program and develop your strategy with personalized learning plan, enhanced preparedness of GS subjects including essay and ethics, development of advanced answer writing skills, periodic interaction with UPSC toppers, guided brainstorming sessions for improved critical thinking and analytical abilities. Enroll today and take charge of your future to excel in UPSC mains.
And last was the Russia-Ukraine war. I have written this particular idea because we should try to interlink the issues together. Can someone tell me how Russia-Ukraine war has created an effect to existing Sri Lanka's crisis? Shortage of, okay. So one is shortage of, but this is universal for every country. Shortage of food, shortage of fertilizer. ठीक है. But they already had shortage, okay. Apart from that, anything peculiar to Sri Lanka? Okay, so tourism declined because of course लड़ते लड़ते किसी को घूमने की तो मन होगा नहीं. Let's go for a walk, right? So tourism declined. क्रूड ऑयल प्राइसेस, ओके फाइन, सो वी आर राइटिंग, सी ये मैं इसलिए लिखा रही हूं ताकि अगर क्वेश्चन आता है रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर का, यू कैन हैव सो मेनी मल्टीपल पॉइंट्स, and this is the reason this war is no more a Eurasian regional war, it is now a global humanitarian crisis. So it led to increase in food prices, it led to increase in fertilizer prices, it led to decline in tourism, it led to increase in fuel prices. वैसे तो फ्यूल प्राइसेस को यहां ना भी लिखें तो चलेगा, फ्यूल प्राइसेस के लिए you could have taken forward the ongoing Hamas-Israel issue. So fuel prices is not that much idea. लिखना चाहो तो last point लिख देना. This is one very important. This is a point peculiar to Sri Lanka. Export of tea declined. Second, export of textiles declined. And you would be exam mein generally in my classes I do mention how India has tried to take opportunities from these kind of adversary. See, it's not at all it's not you can't critique India's stand, but in international relations this is the order of the day. One country is in loss, other country is taking the benefit. How India has taken this benefit, because the second outreach center for tea now has become India. The next outreach center for textile has now been India, that too the Tirupur area as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. ठीक है, सो इंडिया एक क्वेश्चन मेंस में आ सकता है, जनरली डिस्कस इन द क्लासेस, व्हाट इज द चैलेंजेस एंड व्हाट आर द अपॉर्चुनिटीज एज फार एज श्रीलंकाज इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस इज कंसर्न. दिस इज द अपॉर्चुनिटी विच इंडिया कैन टेक. इकोनॉमिक अपॉर्चुनिटी हमें मिली है, स्ट्रेटेजिक अपॉर्चुनिटी भी मिली है to express ourselves as a development partner of the region, to show the world ki we are providing development in this region. एक और अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है टू शो अस दैट वी आर द नेट सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइडर ऑफ द रीजन. ठीक है, सो दिस इज द वे इन विच एक्चुअली द इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस स्टार्टेड हिटिंग श्रीलंका अ लॉट, एंड देन इंडिया केम आउट एज अ सेवियर. सो क्योंकि आज का डिस्कशन है इंस्टेबिलिटी, तो मैंने पॉलिटिकल भी बता दिया, इकोनॉमिक भी हम बता रहे हैं, क्योंकि दे आर स्टिल अंडरगोइंग इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस, अभी बाहर नहीं निकले हैं. सो व्हाट हैपेंड, ये थोड़ा मैंने क्रोनो में बनाया है, नीचे से देखते हैं. 2022 ड्यूरिंग श्रीलंका's dramatic economic crisis, what did India said? India said we are going to give you a support of $4 billion, big amount, $4 billion. Then after this, subsequently we started giving them few amount of things. जैसे January 2022 India said we are going to give, and we gave actually $900 million loan to Sri Lanka. ठीक है, so this was $900 million loan. March 2023 India helped Sri Lanka by issuing the necessary guarantees which are being sought by IMF in receiving a $3 billion package from IMF. यानी कि see, IMF is giving $3 billion, India is giving $4 billion. और ये बात our external affair minister actually has said, that Sri Lanka and the world would realize that how serious India is with the idea of being the net security provider, because we are offering to Sri Lanka something more which a multilateral organization like IMF is offering. तो ये $4 billion का जो पूरा आइडिया है, ये एक साथ नहीं दे रहे हैं, in tranches we are giving. So in May 2023 India extended the first $1 billion credit line for Sri Lanka for 1 year. ठीक है, so out of this $1 billion already we have provided to them. Over and above, we have even provided them $900 million. And then we came out strategically on a policy framework with a 4-pillar initiative. See, a question I have written in 2022. Exact handouts and class notes से this question came up. India is an age-old friend of Sri Lanka. तो मैंने आपको बताया था ना why Sri Lanka is important. This is the reason I teach student why a particular country is important. So India is an age-old friend of Sri Lanka. Civilizational ties हैं, historical ties हैं, demographic ties हैं, trade relations हैं, Indian diaspora is present, this makes India an age-old friend. Ramayan link hai of as old as 2,500 years, right? Discuss India's role in the recent crisis in Sri Lanka in the light of the preceding statement. Because India is age-old friend, because we have security concern, this is the reason we came up with this 4-pillar initiative. ठीक है? फर्स्ट इज लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट जो हमने ऑलरेडी डिक्लेयर कर दिया है और फर्स्ट इंस्टॉलमेंट दे दिया है $1 billion. सेकेंड, so $900 million we have given, and apart from that $1 billion, overall $400 billion. अच्छा, अब apart from $900 million लोन हमने $500 million स्पेसिफिकली फ्यूल परचेज के लिए दिया था, क्योंकि उनके यहाँ उस समय फ्यूल की पॉसिटी हो गई थी. सो वी सेड कि इतना रुपया तो आप सिर्फ फ्यूल को खरीदने के लिए यूज करना. Second is currency swap, so that your currency has devalued. We understand, don't worry. We can correspond either in rupee or in your Sri Lankan currency and my Indian rupee. Third is modernization project. As I told you, Trincomalee Harbour we had started creating. And last is investment. We have promised that our private sector will come up and invest in your hospitality sector. तो ये जो investment वाला idea है ना, ये एक far reaching idea है. And this is showcasing India's sustainable development help to Sri Lanka. मतलब it's not only fake promises. हमने बहुत long lasting सोचा है कि हम long lasting way में we will try to stabilize your economy. So if someone asks you what is the reason we want to stabilize their economy, you will come up to again the first question, because Sri Lanka is extremely important for us. ठीक है? So this is all about few of the country. We will go for a break. ब्रेक के बाद कौन सी कंट्री बचती हैं? सो नेपाल इज देयर एंड मालदीव इज देयर, एंड आफ्टर दैट वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस बांग्लादेश, राइट? ओके, थैंक यू सो मच.